Welcome, dear viewers, to a chilling Yuletide rendezvous with the Carrion Creature Feature. As the festive season wraps us in warmth and merriment, beware, for in the shadows lurk tales that will send shivers down your spine and make the chestnuts on the open fire seem like a distant memory. Gather round as we unwrap the darkest gift of the season, where the twinkling lights cast eerie shadows and the holiday cheer takes a sinister turn. The tinsel may glisten, but within the tangle of ornaments lies a realm of ghastly delights waiting to be revealed. Don't forget to hit that like button if you dare, subscribe to stay in the loop of our macabre adventures, and ring the notification bell to ensure you never miss a scare. Share the terror with your fellow thrill seekers, for in the darkness, camaraderie is your only solace. The air was crisp, and the moon cast an eerie glow through my bedroom window. In my imagination, I could hear the distant jingles of sleigh bells and the soft thud of hooves on the roof. It was Christmas Eve, and like any other child, the excitement in my heart refused to be stifled by the usual bedtime routine. "Sweetie, you need to go to bed. Santa won't come if you're still awake," my mother pleaded, tucking me in for what seemed like the 100th time. Her voice was gentle, but I could detect a hint of exhaustion, knowing that the real work was about to begin. I nodded obediently, promising to close my eyes and drift into dreamland. As soon as the door clicked shut, I waited, my heart pounding with anticipation. The house fell silent, and I knew the time had come to embark on my covert mission. Clad in my favorite pajamas, I tiptoed down the hallway, guided only by the soft glow of Christmas lights. The living room lay before me, bathed in the warm colors of the festive season. The tree stood tall and proud, adorned with twinkling lights and ornaments that sparkled like distant stars. But it was the pile of presents beneath it that captured my attention, each one a promise of joy and wonder. I hid behind the sofa, my eyes fixated on the scene unfolding before me. My parents moved with practiced precision, arranging the gifts and whispering excitedly about the joy they would bring. My heart swelled with a mixture of guilt and delight. I was witnessing the magic behind the curtain. As the last present found its place, a hushed gasp escaped my lips, betraying my presence. The room seemed to freeze in time, and my parents turned their heads in unison. Their eyes met mine, and for a brief moment, a conspiratorial smile danced on their lips. But then, chaos erupted. In the blink of an eye, disaster struck. My father had stood too soon while putting a gift under the tree and caught himself in a weave of decorations and branches. Instinctively, my father recoiled, catching a string of lights. A blue electrical spark erupted and ignited, setting the tree ablaze. Flames licked the air, casting menacing silhouettes on the walls. Panic seized both my parents, and in their desperate attempt to salvage the celebration, they pushed and pulled at the burning tree. But it was too late. The tree burst into a monstrous inferno, teetering precariously before crashing to the ground. The room was filled with the sickening sound of cracking wood, punctuated by the anguished cries of my parents. I watched in horror as the flames enveloped them, turning the joyous atmosphere into a nightmare scene of chaos and suffering. The acrid scent of burning pine, mingled with the scent of singed flesh, permeated my nostrils. I felt bile rise in my throat as tears streamed down my face. I clutched the edge of the sofa, paralyzed by a cocktail of fear and guilt. I was a silent witness to the tragedy that unfolded in the flickering light of the Christmas tree fire. I watched as my father escaped the inferno, his head now bald and scorched from the blaze. He reached back into the flame, pulling my smoldering mother from the inferno. The two fell back, resting against the wall furthest from the tree. In the flickering lights of the fire, my father's haunting eyes found me. His face blistered and covered in grime stared back at me accusingly. In that moment, The enchantment of Christmas was replaced by the searing reality of loss. The screams of my parents echoed in my ears, haunting me as I retreated back into the shadows, forever burdened by the terrible knowledge of the night I stayed up late to see Santa.
Hi, my name is Matt, and this story happened when I was 12 years old. Like many kids my age, I couldn't wait for Christmas. The prospect of getting a new Sega Genesis gaming system was deep in my thoughts. However, my sister Emma was the center of attention that year, a radiant teenager with a charm that captivated all who knew her. However, her happiness was marred by a tumultuous relationship with a boy named Jacob. He was a constant presence, an ominous shadow that clung to Emma's every move. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about him, an unsettling obsession that made my skin crawl. My folks seemed to loathe the very mention of Jacob, and I could often hear my father and sister arguing about him downstairs. Months passed, and the relationship between Emma and Jacob reached its breaking point. On Christmas Eve, tensions boiled over, and Emma finally severed ties with her possessive boyfriend. The air in our home grew heavy with relief, but an unspoken fear lingered in the atmosphere, as if the echoes of Jacob's obsession refused to fade away. That night, as we gathered around the tree, the festive ambiance was tinged with a sense of unease. As I glanced out the window, I noticed a small gift bag on the doorstep, an unexpected addition to our holiday bounty. Drawn by curiosity and perhaps a lingering sympathy for Jacob, I brought the mysterious gift inside. Under the dim glow of Christmas lights, I unpacked the gift bag, revealing a small, nondescript box. The weight of it seemed inconsequential, but I felt that the contents inside might give Jacob and my sister some sort of friendly closure to their relationship. In a misguided attempt to console the broken-hearted Jacob, I placed the gift beneath the tree, hoping to bring some solace to a troubled soul. The following morning arrived with the excitement of unwrapping presents and exchanging joy. Emma's eyes sparkled with anticipation as she reached for the modest box that appeared mysteriously overnight. A fleeting moment of hope flickered across her face, expecting perhaps a piece of jewelry or a sentimental trinket. Her hands trembled as she opened the box, only for hope to morph into sheer horror. The room fell into a stunned silence as Emma gazed upon the gruesome spectacle. A severed ring finger, adorned with the ring Jacob had once given her. The air grew thick with shock and disbelief as the realization of the grotesque gift unfolded before us. The atmosphere, once filled with warmth of family and celebration, turned icy with terror. The specter of Jacob's obsession had not only lingered, but had manifested in a chilling act of self-mutilation. The memory of that Christmas would forever be etched in our minds, a harrowing reminder that sometimes, even in the season of joy, darkness can cast its shadow over the most cherished moments of our lives.
The icy wind bit at my cheeks as I trudged through the snow-covered streets, my small boots leaving delicate imprints in the powdery white. The school day had ended, and the sun dipped behind the skeletal trees, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch toward me like skeletal fingers. With my backpack slung over my shoulder, I quickened my pace, eager to escape the biting cold and nestle into the warmth of home. My breath formed misty clouds in the frigid air, and the Christmas lights that adorned the houses flickered to life, casting a warm and inviting glow. In the distance, I could hear the squeals of children as they trudged home, happy to celebrate Christmas. A sense of wonder and excitement filled me as I thought of all the presents Santa would bring. I smiled and skipped along the icy pavement, turning down the back street that served as a shortcut to my house. But the cheerfulness of the season dissolved when I noticed him, a man in a tattered Santa Claus suit, the once vibrant red now stained and faded. His matted beard clung to his face like cobwebs, and his vacant eyes followed me every step. Unsettled, I sped up, my heart pounding in my chest. "Hey there, little one," he called out in a voice that sent shivers down my spine. "Why don't you come over and tell Santa your Christmas wish?" I shook my head, clutching the straps of my backpack tighter. "No, thank you," I mumbled, my gaze fixed straight ahead. Undeterred, the man persisted, his steps quickening to match mine. "Santa wants to make your dreams come true. Come sit on my lap and tell me what you desire." I could hear the man grow closer, his footsteps thudding through the snow. A powerful stench of urine and filth permeated the once crisp, fresh air. Fear clawed at my insides as I broke into a run, the man in the Santa suit hot on my heels. His laughter, a sinister melody, echoed through the quiet streets, and panic surged within me. I darted down unfamiliar alleys, but he pursued, his stained costume a grotesque blur against the pristine snow. Desperation took hold when I found myself cornered in a dimly lit backyard. The sinister Santa closed in, his outstretched arms reaching for me. Tears welled in my eyes as I prepared to scream, but before I could, a booming voice shattered the silence. "Hey, you there! What the fuck are you doing?" I turned to see Mr. Hudson, our gruff but kind-hearted neighbor, charging towards us. His face, usually stern, was etched with anger as he seized the Santa by the collar, pulling him away from me. "Run, sweetheart, run home!" he bellowed, and I wasted no time obeying, my feet carrying me as fast as they could. Behind me, a scuffle ensued, the sounds of punches landing muffled in the wintry air. I reached home breathless, my parents comforting me as we waited for the police to arrive. Mr. Hudson, a Christmas hero in an unlikely guise, had subdued the sinister Santa Claus and ensured the safety of our silent night. As the police led the imposter away in handcuffs, I couldn't shake the lingering chill that gripped my heart. Christmas, once a season of joy, had transformed into a nightmarish chase. But in the midst of the darkness, Mr. Hudson's bravery became the beacon that illuminated the true spirit of the season, a spirit that triumphed over fear and protected the innocence of a little girl on a frosty December evening.
That concludes our spectral soiree on the Carrion Creature Feature, dear viewers. As the echoes of ghostly laughter fade into the night, we hope your Christmas is now adorned with a touch of the supernatural and a dash of the uncanny. We invite you to linger in the shadows of our channel, where every dark tale finds its place. Don't forget to share the bone-chilling cheer with your fellow thrill-seekers and spread the word about our cryptic community. If you relish the spine-tingling stories we unwrap tonight, give that like button a phantom touch. Subscribe to our channel to stay abreast of all things eerie, and ring that bell to ensure you're never far from the next frightful revelation. As you step away from this haunted holiday gathering, may the spirits of the season accompany you on your nocturnal adventures. Until we meet again in the shadows, remember, every night can be a creature feature night. From us all at Carrion Creature Feature, thank you for sharing in the spectral joy of this haunted holiday season. Wishing you a merry, and perhaps a little scary, Christmas. Stay spooky, and good night, if you dare.